there, I'm Dr. Sam Room, co-founder of Hello Bio. Today, I'm with Professor Stuart Maudsley from the University of Antwerp in Belgium, and we're talking about motivation for scientists. So, welcome, Stuart. It's been a couple of years since we first spoke to you for the blog, and I'm sure there's a lot to catch up on. It would be great if you could start by briefly introducing who you are, where you're based, and what you're working on at the moment.
Sure, no problem. Hi, Sam. So my name is Stuart Maudsley, and I'm the Odysseus Professor of Receptor Pharmacology here at the University of Antwerp. And my lab is called the Receptor Biology Lab. And what we do is we are trying to engineer drugs to control G-protein coupled receptors that regulate the network of proteins that control the aging process. So we're looking to try and stop and arrest multiple types of disease that are linked to the aging pathologies. So we have a broad program, and we have a big interest now in developing some of the early leads we have into real actionable drugs that can be hopefully delivered to the market in between 5 to 10 years.
So today we're going to talk about something you're passionate about, motivation. Now, motivation can be defined in a couple of different ways. So what do you mean when you talk about motivation?
Well, motivation for me is the drive that really makes you get up in the morning and think about work, because you often start by thinking before you even get into work. And I constantly think about what I'm doing all the time. And in essence, there's never any downtime. But the motivation that drives that thinking and then drives me once I get into work is the desire, it sounds very corny, but the desire to do good. And in biological science and biomedical science, the good that we do is actually to bring something to healthcare, either through lifestyle interventions or to drug remediation or to diagnostic screening. And now is a very special time. We're in a very interesting era in which we are experiencing a global pandemic, a global challenge to healthcare. So it's very easy to see why healthcare is so important. Often, and this is a big issue with a lot of people, often with respect to their motivation, is that why is what I'm doing that important? Now it's incredibly important because we see with COVID-19 that this is a unique entity in which there is a very strong aging component. So that's one thing that I try and get across to a lot of my team, is that now it's very clear, it's very obvious that there's a tremendous proximity of our research to driving a real important healthcare issue. So the motivation is really, I mean, in a very simple point of view, you know, you can boil this down to sort of what you think about the meaning of life is, because as scientists, we still have a life and we're still humans. And to me, I've come up with the best concept of the meaning of life is to make the world better for other people. Huge ways, small ways. It doesn't really matter how big your impact is if your impact is positive and helps others. That's my motivation. And I try and, you know, I have to speak that message to my lab and speak it to all the collaborators and friends that I have. But it's a simple message, but it's very effective, and it can be modulated to apply itself to lots of different circumstances. So that's what I believe my motivation is.
And why is motivation so essential when it comes to a research career, do you think?
Well, I think it is absolutely vital because science is tough beyond belief. It's horribly tough. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of effort. And there are many, many, many times in which huge amounts of time and effort are spent, and what seems very little outcome comes from it. So without the drive and the motivation to do the good work that we do and do the good science that we do and help people and collaborate and produce findings and bring our knowledge to other people, that is important. Without that inner drive that accompanies you every morning that you get up and start to think about what you're going to do, it makes dealing with those difficulties day to day that science brings you. We're often, I mean, I often talk to my students and tell them that they're very cherished in the fact that they can see things that have never been seen by any other human. They're the first person to see this in the world. The problem with that is there's no textbook, there's no help. You're the expert. It's down to you. So you have to be the one that then creates the knowledge base on this thing. And that's very daunting and that's very scary. And a lot of people are often nervous about it. But you have to take the confidence in that and use that to motivate yourself to say, hey, I can really help the world, and I can help people, and I can potentially develop a pharmacotherapeutic, which we're very interested in, that could control age-related diseases.
So what do you think are the biggest barriers to motivation that scientists come up against? In other words, what are the ways in which scientists can become demotivated?
Well, I think the demotivation issue is very important. We see this a lot with young scientists and even older scientists. With younger scientists, often it's very daunting. So one of the issues that they have is competition. I remember this when I was a young student. Every day I would go in the lab, I would check on the latest papers coming out and see all my competitors producing, and it's just terrifying. So I just stopped doing it after a while. I can't compete with everyone on the planet. And that's demotivating because you think, why, even if I come in and work 24 hours a day, I can't compete with everything. So the way to get around that is to try and look for a unique niche. And so try and not copy other people. One of my previous mentors said, hey, I stopped reading papers a long time ago and I became more creative because you don't chase other people in their work. So don't feel the competition that prevents you getting demotivated, because it's impossible to compete with everything and everyone. There are thousands of labs around the world working 24 hours a day. The other thing which is often motivating is a lot of scientists, and I think it's a healthy thing to change and develop and grow, but that's dangerous and scary for people because often the future is not certain. So as a PhD student, you're worrying about what's your next job. Am I going to go into a postdoctoral fellowship? Am I going to go into industry? Am I going to do something else? And that's what my job is, and the job of other people, is to provide a mechanism and a support structure to maintain motivation and identify the best goals for people. Say, hey, if this is what's good for you, then we need to plan a future. I always have a plan for all of my students and for myself, 5 to 10 years. It's funny, it's like the latest meme was like, in 2015, if someone asked you 5 years ago, where would you be? And here we are in 2020, the craziest year ever. But it's true. It's really worth, the best way to see how important your motivation is to create your future, is to engineer your success and engineer your development. So that is a tremendous motivation for people to see. And this is one of the hardest things in science, is that what you put in, you get so little back. But for your career and your career prospects and your personal development, it can be 100% return. If you learn a new technique, if you write a new paper, or if you present some findings, that's all positive, all for you. And that's a great way of extracting positivity and things that can really motivate you for the future. Just dealing with results day after day after day is boring and tedious, and good supervisors try and avoid that. And sure, they're good when they come, but what happens is it's sporadic. It's not like day, you get results. There are days when it's dead, and there are weeks when it's dead. Then you have to say, oh, well, if we do this and do this and do this, it will happen eventually, and then we'll reach our goal, and then we can progress to the next level. So fear of progress, competition with others, that's what I try and work on to alleviate and say, hey, sure, whatever goal we try and achieve, we will try and achieve that. It might be huge, it might be small, but I love cliches because they're so accurate and they're so good. What we want is progress, not perfection. And if we can see progress on a daily basis, whether it be personal or academic or results-based, that's a motivator. If you see what you do is doing something, then that's going to motivate you to do it again. Just relying on one simple output or one simple index of productivity, which is a huge issue in science these days, that's demotivating when you have such a poor return on investment. So having a multidimensional approach to seeing what success really is a key to regulating how motivated you are to achieve that success.
Okay, so what are the main ways you make sure you keep your motivation, and how do you work to motivate your team?
Well, to me, it's, I often say, I often give really simple answers because they're the best and they're the ones that work for all circumstances. You've got to have fun. You've got to have fun doing your work. It might be tiny. It might be a minuscule percentage of your day, but you've got to have fun. You've got to have fun doing the work. You've got to have fun writing, presenting. You've got to have fun talking to people in your lab. You've got to have an enjoyment of your scientific life and enjoyment of your own personal life. So we always have incredibly easygoing, light-hearted meetings. We'll often spend a few minutes watching funny things on YouTube or something, or talking about things that we've done. We don't just do science. We're regular people that enjoy a joke and a laugh, and we'll have a constant pizza fund going. That's the one thing that has been shown to be the most important motivator. More holidays, more money, or more pizza. Pizza won every single time. So we actually have a continuous pizza fund in the lab. So it's always available there on tap. If you want it, then you've got it. That always works. It always alleviates most problems. But enjoying yourself, and not, you can take things seriously, and we do seriously enjoy ourselves, but we seriously enjoy work. And, it's when everything is cool when you work as a team. And it's so enjoyable to surround yourself with people that also enjoy their work. So I always try and maintain, even no one is super happy and positive all the time. It's impossible. So we accept that. So, but when you do get to enjoy things, enjoy them. Extract everything you can from them. And that's one thing that I've really learned over the years, is you really have to realize that, that we're all going to go one day. So you've got to enjoy your time, and you've got to enjoy your work. And the people that enjoy their work the most do the best work. And that's a huge concept. People are happy, people work together, people do more. And everyone wins. I win, my team wins, our group wins, and hopefully society wins. We're really, it's incredible that with this drive and with this portion, doing it in an enjoyable way, we can reach huge, huge goals. I mean, we're just on the edge of really getting something really quite profound. And when you're that close, that really even helps. But it's all incremental. On a single day, it might look tiny. It might look insignificant. But that day is part of the mechanism to enormous success. And that's what often you don't see. When you hear a Nobel Prize talk, you go, oh, wow, they're a genius, they did all that. It's like, no. It was many, many, many days of nothing. So always have, as the phrase goes, keep your eye on the prize. That's why you're doing it. You might not get there, but someone will. And you will be part of that ultimate prize. But as long as you always have that and realize what you're doing is important and has a context in people's lives, that's fantastic. But you've got to enjoy doing it. Otherwise, you won't want to get up in the morning. So that's what we really aim for in our lab.
Stuart, I have to say, I would so like to work in your lab.
I'd love to have you.
Can you please finish up by telling people how they can contact you or connect with you online if they'd like to?
Okay, well, I am a huge proponent of social media. So we have our Facebook page, our Twitter page, we're on ResearchGate, Instagram. I even have what's called an ETA9 page, which is a computational analog of myself. It's under work at the moment, but please feel free. Also, we have Gmail accounts as well. So I am very much interested in outreach and interaction with people. I feel it's a duty and a job to help demystify science, especially now, where everyone is interested in science and everyone is interested in health. It's a vital aspect that I've learned and developed in recent years to sort of really, I've been the recipient of lots of expensive education, lots of great mentoring. And it's part of my job to help others and to help the understanding of science. So I'm available on LinkedIn, on all the standard classical social media platforms. I'm a big fan of Facebook and Twitter. So please contact me there.
It's been inspiring talking with you, Stuart. Thank you so much.